And then let me tell you what the definition of grit is. And this is how we're really going to be able to measure the true level of success of our team. It's having a passion and a perseverance for a goal and not surrendering that vision when challenges present themselves. So I'm going to read it again. I'll read it a little more slowly. Grit, having a passion and a perseverance for a goal and not surrendering that vision when challenges present themselves. So I'd like to tell you a story about a young man on our team. And for privacy's sake, I'm just going to call him Roger. Okay? How I came up with the name Roger is beyond me. Pretty cool name. So let me tell you about Roger. Roger arrived on our campus and immediately struggled academically. Johns Hopkins is the number 12th ranked school in the United States of America, and it is a challenge. And Roger showed up and didn't understand the magnitude of the expectations that had been placed on him, not only athletically, more importantly, academically and socially. So Roger had his struggles, wasn't able to manage his time, just didn't know how to put forth the effort. Things had kind of come easy to Roger in high school. So he struggled academically. Athletically, Roger was a fabulous high school athlete. And when he got to Johns Hopkins in his freshman year, he was one of our best athletes, one of our toughest guys, both mentally and physically. Yet he struggled. Because what Roger didn't realize is, at the highest level of Division I lacrosse, it's a full-time job. And you guys will learn that as you move forward. But just because you're great athletically does not mean you'll achieve success, because at our level, you need to be great in terms of intellectually. You have to know the game. You have to know the schemes. You have to be able to adjust on the fly. So now Roger is struggling academically and athletically. Roger struggles socially as well. He was very good at it, but thus he struggled. So some of Roger's decisions weren't necessarily the best ones. So some of the things that Roger decided to do got in the way of how he could be successful the next day in practice or the next day in the classroom. So we go through 2 years with young Roger, and as Kevin would tell you, I'm a pretty straightforward guy. What you see is what you get. I'm not going to pull any punches. I'm going to tell you exactly how I feel. And I decided it was time for Roger and I, we'd had some peripheral conversations. And I decided it was time for Roger and I to have a very serious one. So we called Mom and Dad. And Roger, myself, Mom and Dad sat in the office in a closed door meeting for 2 hours. And basically the gist of it was time for Roger to straighten up or take off. And that's kind of how it was put to him. The opportunity of a lifetime to attend a world-class academic institution, and the privilege, and make no mistake, it is a privilege to be able to play on the club team that you're on, because not everybody gets to do that. And it's a privilege to be able to make the JV and the varsity in your high schools. And it is a privilege to be a member of the Johns Hopkins lacrosse family. It's my privilege to be in charge of it. So we talked about those privileges and his lack of understanding. And Roger decided, okay, I understand. So the next year, his junior year, Roger achieved a 3.0 in the classroom. Now, I would tell you he never had anything above maybe a 2.4. Bright young man, but just really had never worked at it. Was never really committed to it. He had a fabulous year, or I should say, he did. He had a fabulous year. And goes through the year, does a great job, couldn't be happier. And then he tears his ACL. So now all this hard work, he's starting to really feel great about what he's doing. He's rediscovered his passion that I talked about earlier in grit. He's rediscovered his passion for knowledge academically, and he's just rediscovered his passion for the sport of lacrosse. And he tears his ACL, but let me tell you how he tears his ACL. First, let me tell you how I found out. I was out recruiting in November. It was a Sunday afternoon. I know exactly where I was. I was at Radnor High School in Pennsylvania, and I was at Field 4. And I was walking up to Field 4, and my phone rang, and I pulled it out, and it said, Roger. Now, if I'm getting a phone call from a player on a Sunday morning at about 10 a.m., college students, a lot of them aren't up at that point in time. You guys will learn that as well. But it's not good news. So, in my own way, as Kevin knows, I answered the phone and I said, Roger, what's wrong? It wasn't, hi, how are you? Nice to hear from you. It was, what's wrong? And the moms and dads can understand this. You know immediately from tone that something's not right. So I know when we're not getting a recruit. So if I call Kevin Bull and I say, hey, Kevin, how are you? And I get the, oh, hi, Coach. When I'm normally getting, oh, hey, Coach Petro, how are you? I know it's not good news. You know that when your sons come home and you ask them, how was that test? And when they do great, oh, it was awesome. Then you get the, that was okay. You know. Well, I knew. And he shared with me that he had hurt his knee playing in a flag football game. Now, the decision to play flag football probably wasn't one of his better ones. But the cause that he was playing for doesn't make it right, but it does make it okay, because he was trying to do something good. So he tore his ACL. Now, here's a guy, again, who's really, he's taken positive steps. He's passionate about school and lacrosse again. He's doing well. He's back on the right track. And this happens. So he goes through it. He rehabs. He comes back. And normally, an ACL rehab can take anywhere from probably 7 to 9 months. He's back in 6, and he is full go. Now, when I tell you Roger is a freak, physically, that would be the understatement of the year. And he is just different athletically. He comes back, and he has a great season. I mean, he's doing the job academically. He's doing the right things off the field. He's trying to be a leader. He's being gritty. He's doing all the things that he needs to do. And he's doing it right now under challenging circumstances. He's persevering through a knee injury. So we get through the majority of the season. I've put him up to be an All-American. And we go into one of our last games of the year. And it's senior day. And because of his knee, he gets an extra year, so he's not going to go out with his class. And we honor the seniors. And just before we honor the seniors, you guys have all done it. You've all jumped up and down before a game. Correct, fellas? You're excited, you're jumping up and down, you're high-fiving, you're chest pumping your buddy, you're ready to go. Well, Roger jumps up, he lands, and he hits the ground, and all you hear is, and you look, and there he is, curled up in a ball. Now, I'm looking, and there's two thoughts right away. One, is he okay? Two, what do we got to do right now? Because we got 45 guys turned around, looking at their teammate rolling around on the ground, and we're about to play, at the time, the biggest game of the year. So we handle it. The doctors, we've got great doctors there, look them over, and our trainer comes over and whispers in my ear within the first 2 minutes of the game, Roger tore his Achilles. Exactly.